Hey, this is JerDog here, Jeremy Danley from JerDogOnDemand.com, and this is a video blog for 10x your gigs. I am in the middle of a 5.5 hour drive between gigs, so I thought I would just take a few minutes here and lay down some ideas I have, some things that are working for me. Maybe they'll work for you too. Just a couple of quick ideas. I was talking to a comedian friend of mine, a comic friend, the other night, who mentioned that it is really difficult to balance the creative side, writing material and developing creative content, with the business side of things. Like, it's almost takes two different skill sets. It does take two different skill sets, but it's like you have to operate with two different brains. And you probably are, your creative brain is different than your analytical brain. I'm much more inclined to use the creative side of my brain than I am the technical side that deals with numbers and details and analytical stuff. But I have found a system, a little model that I use that works in order to compartmentalize each of these things. So you're staying productive on the creative side and the business side every day. And a lot of people will say that, to succeed in comedy, it's half business, half performing, or half business, half creative, half business, half writing, that kind of thing. It's actually what I found the model to be, for me, is more of a 30-30-30-10 model. And I'll explain what I mean by that. You're going to spend about 30% of your time, really only about 30% of your time, doing creative stuff, writing, creative content, things like that. You're going to spend about 30% of your time actually doing the stuff that it takes to pursue gigs, the gig getting stuff. And you're going to spend about 30% of your time doing the fulfillment of that. Whether that's actually driving to the gig like I'm doing right now, performing that night, doing the radio call-ins, sending out the headshots and the bios and all the promotional packages and things like that. Whatever it is, the actual fulfillment of the gig. And then there's the other 10% of your time is really going to be spent doing a whole bunch of bullshit, the paperwork, the administrative stuff. Probably something that, it's stuff that the accountant needs to do, things like that. But when you're just coming up, you're going to have to do a lot of that stuff yourself. So it's really the 30-30-30-10 model that is a more accurate model to go by if you're going to spend your days full-time in show business, where you have to develop creative content, find the gigs, pursue the gigs, do the prospecting to land the gigs, and then actually spend your time fulfilling on those gigs that you get. So to compartmentalize, a lot of times what I do is I just break up my day. I do a lot of the creative stuff, the developmental stuff. I do all that as early in the morning as possible. And no matter what, I spend at least 10 minutes every day, at least 10 minutes writing or journaling, at least 10 minutes. I set the timer. Sometimes I go longer. A lot of times I go longer. But I set the timer for 10 minutes. I do at least 10 minutes of journaling every single day. And it can be just about anything, but a lot of times I'm getting out the notebook and I am writing just whatever bullshit pissed me off that day, or whatever random stuff I thought was funny. Then, I do maybe 2 or 3 1 hour, 90-minute sessions a week where I go a little bit more in depth and review video of my act, or review an audio of it with the headphones in while I'm at the library, or something along these lines where I'm going a little bit farther into the act. Take a little bit longer writing sessions on a particular bit that I'm trying to develop, things like that. And I do that about 2 or 3 days a week. So that pretty much, and then I spend the other time, I do a lot of video editing, blog posting, things like that, Facebook posts, all that kind of stuff, and that takes up a lot of time as well. So all that I put into the creative content category. It's the good thing to do first thing in the morning because it's your long-term value stuff. If you write a good joke, that joke can be in the act for years, or at least until you go to cut a new CD, or if you get mainstream exposure, and then you need to come up with fresh material at that point. But if you're hustling the road and working the road like a lot of us are, you can use a lot of the same material for 20 years. And that's why I like to do the content development, the creativity work, the writing first thing in the morning, because that's actually got the longest term value. Then, break for lunch, maybe do a quick workout, something along those lines. And that helps reset my brain. So that afternoon, I can go into the afternoon hustle mode. That's where I'm doing all the hustling, making phone calls, sending emails, returning text messages, hitting people up on Facebook, doing all the networking, everything it takes to actually round up the gig, everything you do to get your gigs. Then I do, most of the fulfillment stuff, the actual performing, the driving to the gig, that's usually done on the weekends. And that's pretty much how I break up my week into thirds in order to handle all of that. So I hope this helps. However you do it, I think the idea is to compartmentalize as much as you can the creative side and the business side. Break it up into manageable parts, like a 30% creative, 30% gig getting, 30% gig fulfillment, and then like I said, the other 10% is all the other bullshit that's going to come along with being in show business full time. There's a lot of weird crap that you don't even think about that just services, paperwork for taxes and taking out the trash and everything in between. So the 30-30-30-10 system or model is what I tend to use, and it works. It's very effective and efficient, and I can stay on top of the creative development and the gig getting and the business side pretty easily and stress-free. So if that works for you, let me know. Or if you have a different system, maybe leave a comment on the blog post below, or don't do any of this at all. I don't really give a shit. I'm just telling you what works for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's no skin off my ass either. But I do hope it helps. I do hope you found some value in watching this video. I've yacked enough. It's gone on 8 minutes. I don't even know if I'll be able to upload this from my phone or not, but I'll give it a try. And I better start paying attention to the road. So this is Jeremy, JerDog for 10xyourgigs.com. And thanks for watching. We'll talk soon.